Welcome everybody to the Putnam County Fire Training Center located on Lieutenant Michael Nooner Memorial Drive here in Putnam County. Thank you for all showing up today. First off, I just want to say a few words before I turn it over to County Executive Kevin Byrne. I just want to personally thank Senator Peter Harcum for the generous funding he provided here to get this fire training center built. I also want to thank the Fire Advisory Board, the Putnam County Fire Advisory Board, for putting together the working group made up of chiefs of the Putnam County Fire Departments, particularly Chief Scott Efron, Chief Joe Pignatelli, Chief Jeff Phillips, and Chief Ken Rohauer. I would also like to thank Putnam County's DPW department. They were here working every day on the site work and on the prep work, and when the building started going up, they were here working. Thank you to all the hard work that they put in. And one last person I'd like to thank, which is Drew Kanash, our Fire Training Center tech. He was instrumental in getting all of the site work done, being on top of everything, and getting it all done. So without further ado, well, before I get to that, I just want to also thank Draeger. The building is from Draeger, and they did a great job designing it. And with the help of the Fire Advisory Board, along with Draeger, this new burn building was designed by firefighters for firefighters. So hopefully we'll get a lot of good years out of this system. It's made for live fire burning, for search and rescue, and for other various things that firefighters need to train on. So now, without further ado, I'd like to present and open it up to our County Executive, Kevin Burns, and thank him again for his support and all of the leadership that you did to get this thing through. Thank you.
Very welcome, Bob. Thank you. Well, I think it was less than 2 years ago, we were all here, similarly situated. It was extremely windy, and we had a very different picture behind us. So a lot can change, and 2 years seems like a long time, but in government time, that's actually quite impressive to come off and fulfill a pretty big project like this. I want to echo Commissioner Lipton's comments and thank our Bureau of Emergency Services, Commissioner Lipton, Deputy Commissioner Falloon, the entire team in emergency management in our Bureau, our DPW led by Commissioner Fury, Deputy Commissioner Joe Bellucci. I know we have Brian Whitney here from DPW. Thank you. The vendor Draeger that Commissioner Lipton mentioned was just remarkable to work with, and the men and women in the fire service, in our emergency services community, and the Fire Advisory Board that really helped design this and bring this to fruition. This is something that I felt very passionate about when I took office. I remember over 16 years ago going through what was then Firefighter 1 in the older building, with some folks probably that may have even been there that are behind me. And I also knew that the tower wasn't being used to the same way that it should be, wasn't maximized. And very important that we make sure we provide the appropriate training for our volunteer and career first responders. Quite frankly, the tower, I think, was underutilized for over a decade. The burn facility had to be intermittently closed due to costly repairs to panels. And too many of our first responders had to travel outside of the county to receive necessary training. But all that is now in the past. Our new fire training center is fully operational and has already been used for trainings by some of Putnam County's bravest. This state-of-the-art facility will provide our first responders with the modern, safe, and comprehensive environment they need to sharpen their skills and prepare for emergency situations. We were able to primarily use funding from the American Rescue Plan Act dollars, ARPA dollars, that we have repurposed to ensure the project came to a reality. That was done with assistance from the federal government, but with the members of our Putnam County Legislature that assisted us in finding the funding through IT and radio projects to fund this project. Over $1 million in ARPA dollars funding was used for this project. The Fire Training Center, you'd be surprised by this, it's not quote unquote considered a essential service by federal or state guidelines, but we have chosen to make it a priority in Putnam County because the safety of our first responders and our residents is paramount. We invested $200,000 from our Capital Projects Fund and money directly from the Bureau's budget. At this point, I do want to echo the comments by Commissioner Lipton and give a very special thank you to and introduce our State Senator, Peter Harcum, who helped secure over $250,000 in state grants, which played a major role in supporting this $1.6 million investment into our first responders. And the one thing that you won't see here is, I just shared with him earlier, it just got completed. If you go to our county office building, there's a newly installed handicap ramp, and there's also ADA compliant bathrooms on the ground floor of the county office building, which was also completed with support from grant funding secured by Senator Harcum. But with that, I'm going to introduce Putnam County State Senator Peter Harcum.
Thank you very much, County Executive Byrne. First, I want to thank you for having the vision to rebuild this incredible facility. Want to thank the Board of Legislators for their important role in seeing this project through its fruition. Want to thank the Commissioner and his amazing team, all the first responders beside us. You know, our first responders sacrifice so much for us each and every day. They put their lives on the line. They put their families second sometime. Holiday meals are missed, late nights, long, arduous hours under tough conditions. And we owe them everything we can to keep them safe. And safety comes through training and repetition. And when you can't train locally, it hampers your training time. And as the county executive said, that Putnam County first responders will now no longer have to leave Putnam County for the overwhelming majority of their training. And that allows more time for training, less time for transportation. So, you know, getting the funding was easy in comparison to the work that all of you do. So my job here today is to say congratulations to everybody involved in this project and say thank you to our first responders for everything that you do. Use this in good health. May God keep you safe, and God bless you. Thank you so much.
Just to follow up on some of the Senator's remarks, I view this as one of the shining examples of shared services in Putnam County. We may not be mandated to do something like this, but it is a right thing. It's an obligation that we rightfully take on. And it is a shared service with all of our local fire agencies. It is a shared service for our neighboring counties. I was just talking to Commissioner Lipton earlier, and there are times, I think right now even, where our neighboring counties have limitations on their fire training facilities. Northern Westchester repeatedly uses this facility, and we have an agreement with them. We're able to use each other's facilities. So I think it's a shining example of able to do that, which helps everybody. I also wanted to highlight and introduce a friend, our State Assemblyman Matt Slater, because more recently we've had some discussion in county government about expanding a very important tax exemption for our brave volunteer firefighters and ambulance personnel. The volunteer first responders in our community play a vital role in public safety. They dedicate their time and often put their lives on the line, and we are deeply grateful for their service. A couple of years ago, we introduced a property tax exemption for our volunteer firefighters and ambulance workers. It was a true 10% deduction on the assessment of the property in their home in Putnam. But our state legislators and our Putnam County legislators recognize it was imperfect. Thanks to the hard work of people like Senator Harcum and Assemblyman Slater, our state legislature passed additional legislation to enable us to extend this tax exemption to volunteers who serve outside of the town in which they reside, closing a loophole and assisting our local fire agencies with recruitment and retention. I want to thank our entire state delegation for supporting this, and speak a little bit about that and anything else that he'd like is our Assemblyman Metzler.
Well, thank you, County Executive. I'm honored to be here today. You know, Putnam County has arguably the best first responders in New York State, and they deserve a facility right here in Putnam County where they can train right in the bounds of Putnam County. And so I really wanted to just come and show my support for our first responders community. Yes, we have passed legislation to help recruit more first responders, which are desperately needed, especially our volunteer first responders. But to be here today and to see a finished product really shows how government on all levels can work together in a coordinated fashion to provide a really important service like we have here today. From our federal government to our state government and to our county and local partners, a job well done to everyone, and most importantly, a job well done to Putnam County's first responders. Thank you very much.
As I shared, the county legislature, after the state passed its enabling legislation, passed this tax exemption, which helped close that loophole. I first have to, before I sign it, I have to do a public hearing, but fully intend to sign that as soon as possible. I want to, again, extend a heartfelt thank you to the members of our Putnam County Legislature for their partnership, particularly the chairwoman of the legislature, Amy Sage, former chair of Physical Services Committee at the time that this actually got passed. That's legislator Bill Goldman, who was a firefighter in the Putnam Valley Fire Department for many years and was a member of the fire police, and every other member of the legislature for their instrumental support and voting for the funding for this project. With that, I was going to ask if any of the other legislators want to be recognized. I think some of them even have proclamations. Chairwoman?
Thank you. Thank you, County Executive. On behalf of the County Legislature, I'd like to present a ribbon cutting, grand opening, reopening of the Lieutenant Michael Nooner Fire and EMS Training Center. As a legislator, I'm proud to be a small part of this. Putnam County supports our first responders. And by supporting our first responders and their training, we support the health and safety of our constituents here in Putnam County and throughout the Hudson Valley with this training center. The Putnam County Legislature proudly celebrates the grand opening of the Lieutenant Michael Nooner Fire and EMS Training Center. Volunteers in Putnam County provide an invaluable service to their fellow residents, and this facility serves as a safe place for those heroic emergency volunteers to train without having to travel outside of Putnam County. On behalf of the Putnam County Legislature, I'm thrilled to see the Lieutenant Michael Nooner Fire and EMS Training Center open after years of planning, securing the necessary funding, thanks to our state assembly, our state senator, and the ARPA funding, and the completion of this construction. I congratulate and thank all who are a part of bringing this project to completion. Again, I thank our brave emergency service volunteers who put themselves in the front line without hesitation. Thank you and congratulations.
I will now go on to introduce who I think is also doing double duty. Legislator Aaron Crowley happens to also be the liaison to the Fire Advisory Board, right? Okay. For the Putnam County Legislature, and is also the Deputy District Director for Congressman Mike Waller.
Thank you so much, County Executive Byrne. I think it's really important that this building is up and running. First responders are a big piece of Putnam County, and the recruitment or retention has been a huge issue for us in a lot of different places. And I think this will help encourage young people to continue to stay involved, get involved, again, save time and effort, keep them safe, keep them trained. And I'm thankful to the Fire Advisory Board for all their time and commitment to this, to all the minds of emergency services that have gone into this, their hours, the State Senate, ARPA funding, the legislature, and everybody. And also on behalf of the Congressman, unfortunately he could not be here tonight, but we would like to present a certificate of special recognition to the Strager Fire Training Center in recognition of the reopening of the Lieutenant Michael Nooner Fire and EMS Training Center, a state-of-the-art facility dedicated to enhancing the skills and readiness of Putnam's first responders. Thank you and Godspeed.
And last but certainly not least, so I'll introduce Legislator Bill Goulman. Again, he was the chair of the Physical Services Committee at the time that this got shepherded through and ultimately passed the legislature. But I also know him from his time in Putnam Valley Volunteer Fire Department. Thank you.
Thank you. This is a wonderful facility. This proves the classic example of when we all work together, we get things done. The fire service in Putnam County is very important. They're the backbone of our community, whether you're coming from Putnam Valley or from Brewster and in between. Fire service is very important. Imagine calling 911 and no one shows up. That would be a horrible situation. So whatever we can do to make facilities like this, to give back to the first responders, whether it's ambulance corps or fire departments, we should do that because they are a backbone of our community, and I thank them for everything that you do on a daily basis. 4 o'clock in the morning, Sunday afternoon, Saturday evening, those calls come in, and they have to respond, and they do. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Before we wrap this up, I also want to recognize some of the leadership within the fire service. But I want to start by recognizing the chief of the Brewster Volunteer Fire Department. It was noted before, this facility is named after Lieutenant Michael Nooner, who lost his life in the line of duty, member of the Brewster Volunteer Fire Department, hub of the Harlem Valley. And I'd like to introduce and recognize Chief Michael Nooner. President and President Tommy Reed.
Good evening. My name is Michael Miller. I'm the chief of the Brewster Fire Department. I'm honored to be here today with a few members behind me from the great BFD. First and foremost, I just want to thank everyone involved for completing this project. What a truly beautiful day it is. It's perfect for us to gather here and commemorate the opening of our new burn building at the Lieutenant Michael Nooner Training Center. As many of you know, Lieutenant Michael Nooner made the ultimate sacrifice. He was tragically killed in the line of duty while operating at a house fire in Brewster on June 22nd, 1997. Every day we honor his memory through continuous training in facilities like this one. We not only dedicate ourselves to his legacy, but also to ensure that he is never forgotten. This building stands as a testament to our commitment to learn and grow, and a constant reminder to his family that we will never forget the sacrifice he made. Our thoughts and prayers continue to remain with Mike and his family, and may he continue to rest in peace. Thank you.
Thank you. The chief covered the words, and I wanted to make sure that were conveyed today pertaining to Lieutenant Michael Nooner, why we're here and why this place is named after him. And it's our job to make sure that the next generation, the next firefighters coming through here, understand what happened that day and why the place is named after him. To that end, I just want to take a second to say thank you to our brothers out there from Lake Carmel coming out today. I appreciate it. Thank you to the members of our department coming out here recognizing this, and just to convey, in addition to the thanks, but the dignitaries and all the people that have done a lot of stuff, is sometimes the real world examples just mean something. And I'd like to say myself, places like this are so important, because on that very hydrant over there is where I've learned and made mistakes myself that I now don't make when I'm hitting a hydrant in my district. And places like this are so important. The men and women who stand behind me, interior firefighters, go through incredible training in these type of buildings. And that needs to happen so that, God forbid, we never have another tragedy like we did again. Thank you to everybody who made today happen, and thank you to everybody who made this place upgraded to the facility that it should be. Thank you very much. Thanks, guys.
Tommy is the president of the Brewster Volunteer Fire Department. I want to make sure I mention that. Also, I want to ask, is there any other members of the fire service or fire chiefs that want to say a few words? You want to? Okay. Not a few words, but thank you for being here. It does mean a lot. It's recognized. I know it's hot. I appreciate it. But in conclusion, this new center will not only allow our fire departments to train locally, but it also ensures that we have a reliable and an accessible facility where our first responders can continuously hone their skills. This is an appropriate and responsible use of taxpayer funding. This is prioritizing our spending, putting the public health and safety of our residents and Putnam County's bravest at the top of the list. So again, I want to thank everyone who helped make this accomplishment a reality. Thank you for your service. Thank you for being here. And without further ado, let's cut this ribbon. There's a ribbon, right? Yes. Okay.
Dan's got it.
All right. Everybody, we're just gonna move right over here for the picture.
Shift on, come on.
How about we have Chief Miller and Tommy? Do you mind being up here in the center with us? All right, our senator helps. When you help bring nearly $300,000 to a project, you get to have
Yeah.
All right, everyone
Happy to
together.
support.
This is definitely a Bureau scissors. This is not some Chamber of Commerce big gold scissors.
I was going to say that's my next donation to Putnam
This is-
County. It's a big ass scissors. Let's get a grant, Matt. Big ass scissors.
All right, everybody.
All
So
right,
what do you do?
pull a little
Count
trotter.
backwards. Count backwards from 3, 2, 1. All right, 3, 2, 1.
And a half.
Go! Yay! You got a seatbelt cover. All right. Thank you, everybody. Awesome.